G'day and welcome to the Hunting Connection podcast. My name is Zach Williams and I am your host. Here we'll connect you with hunters, fishers and outdoor enthusiasts from around the globe. This podcast will share hunting and fishing stories including past experiences and tackle the tough hunting stereotypes our community faces. We hope to be a positive influence to those outside the community while also having a laugh along the way. Hope you enjoy the podcast. G'day and welcome to another episode of the Hunting Connection podcast. I am joined with a special guest and our first interstate guest and Zoom video call guest, Cody. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good, mate. I put a bit of pressure on being the first one out of South Australia, though.
Yeah, like I said, the guest I had lined up, she was sick, so I had to quickly get someone, and who better than you?
Oh, I feel honoured. Thank you.
Just going by the background, there's not someone better I could get on as the first interstate guest, mate. You got a cracking sambar behind you, a nice fallow, nice roaring red, nice boar, a bunch of freedom mounts on the ground there.
Yeah, just because I don't have the wall space to actually hang them up.
That sambar looks giant. How big's he?
Oh, he's 27 inch, that fella.
27. Nice. That's shit's all over my little sambar. He's tiny. Doesn't even compare. The brow tires are longer than his main beams.
Yeah, well, the first sambar shot was a mongrel. He's down there somewhere. He didn't even get a back time going.
Yeah, he's cool. I like those handlebar stags there. There's something different, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, like it. That was the first one I ever shot, and I got him on my second trip down to Vic.
Wicked. All right, let's get straight into the questions, man. Where are you from?
I am from Bathurst, New South Wales.
Awesome, beautiful part of the country. I haven't been up there too much, but I've passed through it. How old are you, man?
26.
26? Nice. What do you do for work?
I work on the family farm out near Oberon.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just a farmer.
Just a farmer? Nice. How many acres are you working on there, mate?
Now you're getting into stuff I really don't know. It's roughly about 4 years ago, I'd say we were running about 17,000 acres.
Awesome.
Owned and leased land.
Yeah. So what are you running out there? Cattle, sheep, bit of everything?
Mainly cattle at the moment. We used to run sheep, but I hate the bloody things, and I was glad to see them go, to be honest.
They are, and they keep the deer out the paddocks at times.
They just get in the way. They just stink, and yeah, you can't find deer when they're around.
Exactly. You came up with a pretty good theory on why you don't see fallow and sheep out together and some other species. So yeah,
well, you get a dry time. You got sheep and cattle the same paddock, but sheep do that a little bit better than cattle do. They just eat more, and cattle just can't compete.
Yeah, exactly.
So why wouldn't it be the same for deer?
Yeah, definitely. So how did you get into the hunting outdoors lifestyle, mate?
Well, I guess like most kids that grow up in the bush and whatnot, I grew up as a shooter. I like just going out spotlighting and shooting rabbits and whatnot. But as I got older, I started like picking up the wild deer mags and sporting shooter and all those ones, and like started learning about deer, like not even knowing there was deer running around the backyard just because they weren't a thing back then.
Yeah, wow.
And as I learned that more and more, I just wanted to get into it by myself. So I sort of became self-taught and looking for deer and stuff and chasing them.
So how old were you when you got onto your first deer, mate?
I'm not entirely sure because, just because I don't really remember it too well, but I remember I was 15 when I shot my first stag.
Was that big stag you sent me photos of the other day?
Yeah, that's that 13 pointer down here.
That's ridiculous. That's what dreams are made
Yeah,
out of.
true. Yeah, I shot him with a 22 250.
Yeah,
Went up there during the raw, and I just happened to have a raw and went out on my own, make my own miner's license and all that. So Dad was kicking around there somewhere. So but I went in and I roared him in, and everybody was behind me. So he let off a big screaming roar behind me and snuck up behind me. And I swung around and it was like buddy 50, 60 yards away, and I took a quick shot at him. But oh yeah, that's not bad for a first one.
yeah, that's hard to beat for a first one. Much like Caleb's
Oh,
first fallow buck he shot the other day, it's gonna be pretty long time before he beats that. We were telling him he just needs to give up hunting and start golf or something.
and he's fucked. Now they can't shoot another one.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you mainly running when you're out? What's your main rifle setup and your bow hunt too?
Um, yeah, I do a bit of bow hunting as well. Rifle wise, it varies from what I'm chasing.
Yeah,
For just general hunting, I'm using a Seiko Grizzly in 30-06 caliber.
nice.
And I've got that mounted with a Zeiss Conquest HD5 scope on it.
Nice.
That was like the first rifle I bought when I was 18.
Yep.
So
Bit fancier than most people's first rifles, mate.
yeah, well, my dad was very anti big caliber,
Yeah.
as he'd say. Because he says, "Oh, you don't need anything bigger than 223. Don't need anything bigger than 243." So when I was going to, I told him, "So I want a big deer rifle to take on any Australian deer species." I was like, "Well, fine. If you're going to get a stupid caliber, may as well make it a really good rifle." So he come in to split the Grizzly.
There could be worse things, you know. At least he wasn't telling you to get something shit. At least,
Yeah,
at least 6.5 Creedmoor wasn't a thing back then.
Yuck, 6.5.
What bow are you running, mate?
I run a Hoyt Powermax, and that's at 60 pound.
Nice. Do you know your arrow grains at all? What?
I just use the Cayugas
Pilot
mainly.
cuts. What grain pilot cuts you running?
At the moment I'm running 100 grain, but I usually run 150 grain.
Yep.
Normally, just because I like that bit of extra punch.
Yeah. No, the pilot cuts are good. How do you find the bleeder blades on them?
I've seen them in action. Not when I've shot them, but I've seen them in action on chamois and pigs in a red deer, and like I've been quite impressed with how well they just managed to cut through and like just do a lot of damage to make the animal bleed.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had good luck on them on goats. They've done all right. I've switched up broadhead types a couple times, but yeah, Cayugas and Van Diemen's are my top go-to at the moment.
Yeah, well, I did experiment with some cheap eBay shit, and when I did get started, I was using the wasp boss heads.
Yep.
Because it was what my whitetail outfitter in Illinois recommended that I use. So I did use those for a bit more, and I worked out the costs and all that in terms, because no one really stocks them here in Australia, so I had to get them shipped over from America.
Yeah.
I just worked out I'll go with Australian made. It's cheaper and I can get it easily.
And better made heads as well when it comes to the Australian design stuff as well.
Oh yeah, Mike, just better steel and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're out, I know you do some of your shooting from your farm, like your farm work stuff. What's in your hunting backpack when you go out?
Um, Normally it's just like spare ammo because you never know when you're going to get trigger happy.
Especially with the amount of pigs you've got running around your area, mate.
Oh God, you reckon I
Slightly
could find one on the weekend, but I was struggling.
you're telling me you couldn't throw a rock without hitting them the other day?
Yeah, well, you couldn't, but I just the other day when I had Kajia out hunting with me, and I was like, "We got a pig problem here. We need you to knock over some pigs." He's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm just happy to get out." I went, "Yeah, good, sweet." Go out looking for him, and couldn't bloody find a one.
That was a pretty cool little fallow spiky she took.
Oh yeah, that was a complete fluke. Like just bumped into it when I was making a scrape. Like didn't know it was going to be there. We were looking for reds, but
Yeah.
it was there, and I was like, "Well, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, knock it over."
Yeah, he only a young deer, but he had some cool spike coming off of that one side where he's got the three points coming off already.
Yeah, they're at the three little knobs there on the right side, and then he's just got like a real thin spike on the left side.
Yeah. So other than spare ammo, do you run a water bottle, a bladder?
I run a bladder.
Yep.
I prefer to run a bladder because I just easy access all the time.
Yeah.
Rather, I find if I get a bottle, I'll take a big gulp and they'll make me feel crook and sick from drinking a little bit too much. So I prefer the bladder because it's a bit more there, and I always know it's there when I want it. I usually carry some pillowcases for meat. Like if you get something down, pillowcases are easy to wash, use as meat bags.
They're pretty easy to get onto as well. I run pillowcases just straight down to Kmart and grab some cheapies. If they start to get a bit rancid, you just throw them out, buy some more.
Yeah, it's bloody easy as to do. And always make sure to carry, like, I run a Havilon, so I always make sure I've got some extra blades kicking around somewhere. Excuse me.
It's amazing how many people are running the replaceable blade knives now. Like I've spoken about it before. I'm running the Gerber, and quite a few of the guests are running the Havilon. So
yeah, well, it's just convenient. Like especially if you're not a bloke who has time to do the sharpening, or get the steel out and do it all.
Yeah,
just
it's amazing how
I find. No, you go.
It's just amazing how well you can break down an animal with such a small little surgical blade. Like,
oh yeah, easy as. I found with those scalpel blades, if you want to make them last that little bit longer, you get those cheap little yellow sharpeners that are about the size of a matchbox. If you just give those a touch up every now and then, like I'll make that blade last a bit longer before you need to decide to right out that's blunt and remove it and chuck a new one on.
Like, yeah, that's
just saves extra money on buying new blades all the time.
That's a good idea. I carry a little steel in my hunting pack usually, so I normally have fixed blade knives as well as the little disposable blade knife as well. I feel like you can never have too many knives in the pack. They all come handy.
I've myself having a buddy span off kicking around somewhere.
Yeah, no, that's one of the most useful things. Like I tell people when I take them out that a knife, binos, all of that stuff is like the most important thing, followed by your weapon of that you're taking out.
Yeah, oftentimes, even when I'm working on the farm, I'll feel naked without my binos being there, just because I want to look and just see something.
Lucky, you've definitely got the worker choice, being able to do that. I'm driving plasterboard around the city most of the time. I get the odd bit where I get to go up into the hills on a delivery, and the whole time I'm driving up the freeway, I've got my head down looking, doing 60 up the freeway in my truck, and I'm looking up to the sides. Oh, there's a deer. Oh, there's a deer. Oh, there's a rabbit. There's a fox.
My habit is because the properties are so close to each other, I'll be driving along and said, "Oh, hang on, there was something." Then I'll stop and pull up for it. Said, "Oh, yeah, that's all right." And I usually have a camera with me, so I want to get a photo of it as well. So that takes me a little bit longer to get jobs done. Yeah, the old man doesn't like that.
Yeah, I bet, but yeah, I wouldn't be complaining if you're seeing the deer and stuff that you're seeing out that way, like that red stag you sent some photos of the other day and you posted it up on your Insta.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was on that's not property I worked on. I was like on a family member's property that
Yeah,
we just happened to get onto and look around and was like, oh, well, can't really shoot it there, unfortunately. It's just like this is one of those that you couldn't get at. We just didn't have permission to go after. But
bugger.
honestly, it's one of the only deer I've been got eyes on for the rut this year, apart from one I guided Zoe and Brendan onto a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
But that bloke just out. Well, I wouldn't say outwinded us. It's more like the highs that will whiff him outwinded us just with the wind and stuff. But we got him in the 15 meters. Didn't have a clear shot with the bow.
yeah, spewing. Yeah, I haven't seen too
So
much deer activity. Had that hunt with Hainsey and seen a lot of deer activity in a couple of days, and then heading out to my properties. It's kind of spoiled hunting. Like the amount of deer that he he has running around out there is just makes everything else seem quiet and slow.
yeah, like with when I was getting started, I was like, oh, like you see like a lot of young deer and a lot of hinds, like you just struggle to find like a good aged animal.
Yeah,
And then when my mate took me out for my first fallow hunt to his block, it's like you see bucks of all ages everywhere, just fallow deer moving everywhere, and just everything's croaking and going off. And like if you blew a shot on a stalk with one animal, you can just go, right, I'll just go this way, chase this one instead. Like you just had options, and I was like, I've never been anywhere else where it was like just constant all the time. And yeah, it was like a few Easters ago now, and that bloke there's the first fallow buck I ever shot, and that was with a bow.
nice. That's he looks bigger than anything I've gotten with a bow. I've taken a few little dinkers.
I don't think he'd be too much bigger.
He looks good. Um, so what's your top beginner tip for someone getting into hunting?
Top beginner tip. It's important to know that failure is part of the game. Like you can't guarantee success every time you go out.
100%. That's
Like if you can just get used to the idea of like come home with everything all the time, just keep trying and going out, just trying again and again, like eventually success will come your way, but get used to the failure first.
yeah. That's actually some really good beginner advice because if you don't like failure, hunting's probably not for you because the times you have success compared to the times you have failure is yeah like the amount of shit
Yeah.
I get from the guys at work. I'll be like, oh yep, going hunting this weekend, and I'll get to work on Monday, and they'll be like, oh, did you kill anything? Oh, no. I let some animals walk, and I did this and I did that, or I missed a shot, or I missed an opportunity, and oh, you're a shit hunter. You know you did.
Yeah, I know that. So you're shit, you're not good at it. I'm just going, well, you weren't there to see the circumstances of what went wrong, but I learned from the lesson of that mistake or that failure, and that's going to improve me for the next one.
Yeah, exactly. We all do make the same mistakes every now and again. You're like, oh shit, I thought that was going to be different, but every day is different.
Oh yeah, no, I got the wind wrong on that one. I said, oh no, I drew me bow back too soon. Like
Yeah,
it's just there's so many things that just can go wrong and will go wrong. If you
exactly.
can accept, you will screw up, but it's not the end of the world if you do. Then like your mentality will get better.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like otherwise, you just get down to the dumps all the time. So no, no, can't do anything right. No.
Yeah, we've all been there kicking rocks and kicking sticks and sour face feeling
So
defeated.
face, buddy, chucking the tantrum like you're free.
But hey, you get to work Monday and you're like, man, I had a good weekend. It was good to get out.
I mean, like the first sample hunt I did, I was like, I did see his day get out and I pulled the rifle out and I shot and I didn't know if I hit or missed and I couldn't find a blood trail or couldn't find any tracks and I was just dragging me feet the whole time. So I should have waited for a clear shot. I should have shot sooner. Yada yada yada. And by the time the weekend was, I said, "Shit, I had a good time up in the high country.
Yeah,
I want to get back already."
exactly. That basically is what my New Zealand trip was like. You know, I missed a nice seeker stag with the bow, and he ran out to 80 yards, and my friends handed me the rifle, and I put this. This is the first morning, first day, and I've put the crosshairs on him, and I've gone to touch the trigger, and I've lowered the rifle and handed the rifle back. I'm like, yeah, nah, this is too easy. I missed 2 more deer with a bow, and then never got another opportunity with the rifle. So my bow exploded 3 days before I was meant to be leaving for New Zealand. So I had to borrow a friend's carbon air. So I had to spend the next 2 days before I left sighting it in. So I was shooting a bow that I wasn't very familiar with. I missed a nice seeker stag, a spike, and a hind, all at different distances. You know, the stag was like 40 yards, the hind was like 30, the spike was like 15, just, you know, buck fever. And I nailed a rabbit at 45 yards. And this isn't a big rabbit, it was a kit. And this is after I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
the bow must not be shooting right. And yeah, then there's a rabbit, shot it, just absolutely nailed it. I'm just like, yeah, nah, it's me then.
Yeah, it's the mentality.
Yeah,
my first trip for Seeker, like I got my ass handed to me. It's the first DIY trip I ever did, Empress International trip I did.
Yeah.
Went over there with a bloke who knew, like, he had family over there, but didn't have much hunting experience, and we just went over there not knowing anything, and basically got our asses handed to us. Like, never, we got a glimpse of 2 deer. Oh, I couldn't tell you what they were. I couldn't tell you if they were reds or if they were a Seeker.
Were you over there for the raw? What time of year were you over there for?
Yeah, I was around probably mid-March I was there for.
Yeah. So just a little bit before the raw, maybe a little bit of
Yeah,
vocalization.
I was just there like wrong time. I was like 18, 19 at the time, so my knowledge was a bit piss weak on how things work. But with the knowledge I have now, I feel like a little bit more confident, but probably not as quiet.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't pass up another seeker with the rifle. That's for sure. That's.
Oh no, I've got to get revenge on the seeker for buddy making fun of me in such a way.
Yeah, wait till you hear them roaring, man. Like, it's just when you hear it in person, it's something special. It's the coolest deer sound I've heard. Like, to me, it tops a red or a fallow.
It's on the bucket list of things just to sit back and listen to.
Yeah, I play this every now and again, but I got the. Not sure if you can hear that, but it's the seeker.
Yeah, I can hear that. Oh, something else, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually, that's my recording of one of the stags that I had an encounter with, but just couldn't get onto.
Yeah, right.
It's cool. It's a cool sound. So what would your top 5 items be for a beginner?
Rightio, well, binos, I'm pretty sure everyone says binos at some point.
Mid-range level, do you have a particular brand that you prefer?
Vortex Diamondback.
Yeah.
Because that's what I run. It's good glass, it's good quality, and it's at an affordable price.
Yeah, they are.
Like, anyone who asks me, what bino should I go? So I always go, that one, because it's what I use, and it hasn't disappointed me ever.
Yeah, I normally say what is your budget, and they say around that $400-$500 mark, and that tends to be what I point people towards.
Yeah, I could tell them that's you go for this one. And goes, oh, it's a bit pricey. I said, why? If you compare it to this one, like a Swarovski or a Zeiss, they go, oh, okay, no, we'll look at these then.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So what else are other than binos?
Yeah, well, boots. Like you got to have a good pair of boots, especially if you're planning on doing like big hikes and stuff.
100%. Unlike Hainsey, he just rocks the freaking Dunlop, the $10 Dunlop freaking slip-ons, man.
I can't really fault him because I took some mates out for a first hunt after goats, and I thought I would just go for a quick walk up the river. It was like early in the morning. We were out camping. So we'll just go for a quick walk. It's only along the river, so I only put on my big W volleys on. Absolutely no grip on them or anything whatsoever. Going for a walk, and that short morning walk turned into a half a day hike up the mountain, chasing one mob of goats just to get your mate onto one.
Yeah.
And we didn't end up camped at 2 o'clock, and I've ended up throwing those shoes out because I absolutely ripped the piss out of them.
Yeah, I've chased goats in cheap little flat shoes from Big W or Kmart, wherever the hell they were, and it was a nightmare. There's a picture of me with, I reckon it would have been the second or third goat I shot, and I'm there barefoot on a bit of a waterfall with blackberry bushes all around me, and I was in those flats, and they just ended up giving out. So I've like flicked them off, chucked them in my pack, and yeah, I'm walking through blackberries and damp cold ground.
Yeah, no, majority of the time I'm going out in my work boots with just the normal blindstones.
Yeah.
I usually go around those, but if I'm like going to Vic or if I'm heading over to New Zealand, I definitely got some like high ankle mountain boots or something on.
Yeah.
Because you can't go too cheap when it comes to mountain stuff.
Yeah. I wasn't even in the hilly shit in New Zealand, and I struggled a bit.
The gentle slopes of New Zealand is something that us Aussies can't quite comprehend.
It's the altitude, I reckon. Like, the guys I went out with, they were fairly well built blokes. I would not call them fit. And the hike into deer camp, seeker camp, they both had smokes in their hands. They had a can of Jacks in their hands, and I could not keep up with them. Like, I was struggling. And they're there puffing on smokes, drinking their Jacks.
It's like you're built for the country that you're used to.
Exactly. And I'm not sure if you've ever been to Adelaide, but, we do have little hills, but it's mostly flat. And as Josh from Send It Mate says, desert.
Desert, like dirt.
So, boots and binos, what else, mate?
Well, boots, binos, knife's important if you want to be successful and show respect for what you killed. At least try to take some meat, even if it's just dog meat in the end. Like if you can take something off it, take 100%. It. The only thing I'll give exception to is things like foxes or something. If you don't want to muck with those, that's fine. You save.
Yeah, no, that's definitely understandable. And it just depends on what the meat quality is like. You'll cut something open, and sometimes you'll see it's got worms, or it's, in the case of deer, like the amount of times I've cut a deer open and there's been like an old bullet wound somewhere in the back or the shoulder or the hind leg, and it's just like nothing on the outside, but it's all festy on the inside.
Yeah, I haven't had too many encounters of wounded deer, but I have come across pigs that have had their ears ripped off from doggers.
Yeah.
So I just complete scar tissue and just mag it in. Yeah, but yet they're still fat and healthy mountain pigs just getting around. I just not a care in the world. They've got like muddy, both ears ripped off.
Well, that's the thing. We put our human emotions into it, We're like, oh, poor animal. It must be living with this pain. But they're thinking, oh, we just got to... Well, they're not even thinking. They're just we got to keep living. Like we eat, we breed, we eat, we breed, and that's all they know, you know.
Yeah, like to just, I don't know, I don't want to get into it too much. Might go on a big rant, but Casmeric megafauna or however Ranella describes it, it just gets in the way sometimes.
Anything with eyelashes, people care about.
No one gives a fuck about a fish.
Yeah. Oh well.
They don't have eyebrows.
They're starting to. They're starting to.
Yeah, I've caught on to the last podcast you did in spearfishing, mate and his daughter. When I talk about they got
Dave and Dakota, but yeah, even like I've joined a couple of the carp fishing groups from the UK, and I made the mistake of putting a bunch of bow-fished carp on there, and they did not like that. They they respect their carp over there like we do our deer, and even more so.
Yeah, it's when you get different cultures and stuff involved, and different people on different plans. The views on things are very different, just based on like how they've grown up in their area.
Exactly, like chatting to Americans and stuff, just about, you know, we can hunt deer majority of the time, like 365, 24/7, you know, on private property around most of Australia. You can spotlight deer. You know, you don't have seasons, you don't have tags, except for the exception of Tasmania and hog deer. But yeah, it just blows them away.
Yeah, and Europeans as well. Like when I was over in Croatia, I was like, "What? So like you have all these species, you can hunt them all the time. Like you don't need permits." Like, not really. Like depending on where you are, like you need like an R license for state forests and stuff in New South Wales, but majority of the time it's just it's a free for all.
Yeah, it blows their minds, especially spotlighting. So boots, binos, knife. What are your last two?
A first aid kit.
First aid kit, very very helpful.
Just because like you don't plan on shit to hit the fan, but it can.
Yeah, the amount of people I know that don't carry a first aid kit, even a PLB. I'm not sure if you've got a personal locator beacon. I
actually need to upgrade mine.
Upgrade, or you just need to renew the they
No, it's out of date. The battery's dead.
Yeah, spewing. Well, be careful.
It went out of date last year, just before I did the semi trip.
Go
after the trip ran out of date.
Go hand it into your local cop shop, because when I used to work at BCF, I've heard a couple of stories of people just throwing them in the trash, and then it goes to the dump, and then a seagull or a fox or something sets it off while it's in the dump, and then you get the emergency services going to the dump, and then because you've disposed it incorrectly, you get fined.
Oh, fuck, all right.
So yeah, I think
I better keep that in mind.
You got to hand them to your local cop shop, or find out on the websites wherever else you can dispose them of, because otherwise, you know, you could have tie up emergency services looking for you at a garbage dump.
I'll best look into that then.
So your fifth and final top beginner item, first aid kit.
Headlamp. We'll go headlamp just because last one of the trip hunts I did a couple of weeks ago, we shot a deer right on dark.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a property I wasn't too familiar with. I only hunted about 3 times beforehand, having been caught there in the dark before. So I was just like, you know what it gets like, you know the place like the back of your hand during the day, but like once night hits, you're completely lost. Like you don't entirely sure, like things aren't where they're supposed to be. So like if you need to find your way, like a good headlamp just sort of helps.
Yeah, I carry a half decent head torch. I normally have a torch, and then I've got these little hat clip lights that I picked up when I was in Texas, and they're like
Oh, yep.
$5 a packet, and you get like a couple of white light ones, you get a red light one, a green light one, a blue light one, and they just clip onto the front of your cap, and they just take a little flat disc battery, but they're pretty good. So when you're going in, you're not spooking too much with lights shining around everywhere. But it does pay to have lights in your pack, because like you said, everything changes in the dark, whether you're hiking into a spot in the morning or you're hiking out after you've had a successful hunt. It just helps. Even if you shoot something on last light, it's good to have a couple of different torches on hand, so when you're butchering it up or breaking down the animal, caping it out, you've got that bit of light there. Because if you've got a decent red stag, that's, what do they get, 200 kilos, 180 kilos for a good red stag, and if you have to deal with that in the dark with not much light, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, and I loaded one on the back of the ute by myself once, and that was a fair effort. So
Yeah, the one I shot with Hainsey, him and I were trying to get it whole on the ute, and we just could not. He was standing on the tray, holding the antlers, trying to pull it up. I'm trying to bear hug it and pull it up. It just did not work, so had to break it down on the ground.
yeah, I think I ended up tying the antlers to the headboard, tying the back legs to the headboard, and just getting underneath it, just giving a good reef, and just shoulder barge it on. Because I was hunting for a hunting comp where he needed to have the whole animal in for a weigh. So I was like, gutted it there and just had to get the whole thing on.
So do you have a few hunting comps in your area, or is that?
We used to.
Yeah.
They only ran about 3 of them. The ADA used to run them, but then the ADA lost interest in running the competition. Then Canobolas Hunting Club was meant to take it over, but then it just never got going again.
Yeah, that's a shame. It's not really something that we have down here. I know the local ADA branches have their, the biggest head of the year of each species, which we reckon Caleb's going to take that out with his fallow, because it's a monster. I could fit my red in between his fallow's antlers, like. The body on my red was big. The antlers weren't overly big, but the fallow dwarfed the red with with antler size. It was mental. Zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, with those ADA comps, they're all, like, as good as they are and encouraging they are. They're all internal, so you've got to be a member.
Yeah, exactly.
Heads on that. Where this hunting club, yes, the ADA ran it, but anyone could join in. Like if you're like a pig dogger, like if you got biggest ball, like you could have got in for that. Like if you're a young kid who's like never really done much, you just shot a rabbit on your grandfather's farm, you could have entered that rabbit, like have a shot to win like any of the prizes. Like it was just anyone could have had a crack at it. That's what I enjoyed about it.
That's pretty good. New South Wales does have a better hunting culture than South Australia, though. There's a few people working on it. I'm trying to better the South Australian hunting culture. Centre Mate podcast, those boys are, and Hainsey, he's been taking not just a lot of new guys, but guys that haven't, like myself, that haven't had the opportunity to get onto a half decent animal and taking them out lately. Is just this rut. I reckon he's helped 10, 15 people get onto an animal of some sort, which is just insane. That's a great effort,
And just doing that alone like that, like, makes him just top, like just to like take time out of his work and hunting time that he could just do for himself.
Exactly.
Take over.
Yeah, it's like I'm happy with myself if I can help 1 or 2 guys get onto something a year, but 15 guys in a matter of 3-4 weeks is just he's not spending time with his family, and he's helping blokes get out. He's losing time with his family, but he's got the best feeling of getting new people onto different species and different their personal best heads and yeah,
Like just completely outstanding.
it is. So, zombie apocalypse weapon. What are you going, mate?
Well, I'm not really into all the zombie stuff like you are. Yeah, the real zombie experiences I have is like dealing with like just on video games. Like I'm a big Halo fan,
Yeah,
so my go-to when that's it, right, I've got to find a shotgun and I got to find a big sword.
yeah,
That's so yeah, big a 12 gauge. I can pump it like hold a lot of rounds in.
yeah,
You
yeah.
get,
So something like an Adler, go a lever action Adler, or a straight pull, or
I've got I've got a straight ball in the gun club.
nice. How do you find them? I actually haven't shot a straight pull before.
So just for shits and giggle, like there was like the neighbour was just having the clay shoot, and they had an Adler, and I just recently got the straight pull. So we'll come down and I have a few shots, and like because you had to do the crank, as you crank, you're sort of pulling the gun away from you,
Yeah,
and when you pull it back, you've got to readjust and like sight in again. Where with the straight pull, you don't really have to keep aiming. You just pull and go. Like you don't have to readjust, so you got more time to require the next target or keep on target and just keep hitting. So like I don't mean to brag, but I took out every clay I shot at, and they missed 50% of theirs.
no, that's a wicked. What have you forgotten on a hunt?
Ooh, and what have I remembered on a hunt? Really?
You forget something every time you go out, eh?
Oh, like I have gone out and forgotten my release date for my bow, and I've just gone, nah, I don't want to hunt. Like I can't shoot without it because I just don't have the confidence to shoot with the fingers and make sure I'm shooting perfect.
Yeah,
It's like, nah.
I've been there, but yeah, since I first made that mistake, I always have a spare release aid. The exact same release aid I shoot, I have a spare one in my pack constantly, just in case.
My brother forgot the rifle bolt for his gun, and I had the bow, and he was like, "Oh no, we've driven 40 minutes to get out here." And no, he just wanted to go for maintenance, go. So all the pressure fell on me then to get a goat with the bow, and I managed to get one. It was a 45-meter shot. It was like the longest shot I've done at that point, but I managed to get like a nice nanny gate for the freeze for him.
It's always good when the bow hunter outshows the rifle hunter, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I call myself. I'm not a true bow hunter because I don't bow hunt all the time because sometimes I just like to pick up the rifle, and sometimes if I get the opportunity, I will go out with blokes that run dogs. So like I think I consider myself a generalist when it comes to all methods of hunting. Like I dabble in all of it. Like I don't prefer one over the other.
Yeah, I've come to this road stop, this stop sign recently as well. Like for years I always considered myself a bow hunter. I'd be like, "Yep, I'm a bow hunter. I'm a bow hunter." And then I've gotten a family. It's hard to put a lot of time into bow hunting when you've got a family, a wife, you're working. So now I've got the rifles as well. So it makes it a bit easier if I need to go get meat or I need to, do some pest control. I'm not just out there with the bow trying. I can actually, majority of the times take a shot with a rifle. But yeah, much like yourself, I've been dogging, I've been trapping, I've been ferreting, I've been like I've done a bit of everything. I don't consider myself as just a bow hunter anymore. I consider myself just as a hunter, as a generalist, like you're saying.
Yes. It's interesting that you bring up the whole like you don't put much time into the bow hunting anymore because of family. Because early last year I went and bought myself a muzzleloader.
Very nice.
And I was like, no, I'm gonna give this thing a go. And it's just like it's that much of a it's that filly of a thing to muck around with. That I just need time to work out the kinks and just get it all to work right. But I don't have the time. And I live in town now. I don't live out in the bush like I used to. So it's just hard to go, I've got to spare a couple of minutes before it's too dark to shoot. I'll just pour it out and play with it. Like, so I find it more easier to go bow hunting than it is to try to work out how to shoot this black powder thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm the same. I don't live in the hills anymore. I live down in town. So yeah, I've got like a 15-meter spot I can shoot in my backyard if I need to adjust something. I don't like to, but it's all I've got. You know, I only lived on 5 acres in the hills, but that's enough to sight in a rifle. That's enough to, you know, I was shooting 6 out of 7 days, majority of the time at least. I'd normally have a 3D target 20 meters from my bedroom, because my bedroom was on the outside of the house, so I'd step outside from the bedroom, take a shot down at the target. Oh, yep, that's good enough. Put the bow back up. At least if I was having one shot, it's better than not. But it's I definitely find it hard to find the time to do that these days.
Yeah, well, it's just part of life and family. Like
Exactly.
back every now and then.
Exactly. So, do you have a funniest hunting story?
Oh God, funniest. It'll be a long one, so bear with me.
That's all right.
So, what was it? I think it was about 2019. I just got out of a rough relationship, and I just was in the moment. I was like, I need a trip somewhere. I just need to go off. And so I went on to a very dangerous website called bookyourhunt.com.
I thought that was going in a different direction there for a second.
I nearly set myself up for that, didn't I? No, so I went on a book your hunt and started looking around, like to see what was like a hunt I could do soonish. And I ended up finding a brown bear hunt in Croatia.
Okay.
So I was like, he said, oh, yeah, no, contacted the outfitter. I said, oh, yeah, well, when's the best time to come? He goes, for the spring hunt, you're looking at like early March to late May. I said, right, well, I don't want to miss the red raw because I got guys that want to come out with me and I want to take them out. So I'll go mid-March, and by the time I get back, the red deer should start roaring. So I'll head over for then. So anyway, I'll go to Sydney Airport and a few hours before my flight. And I'm there waiting, and like you do when you're bored, you go on your phone. And there was this random video that get shared around. And I just clicked on it and started watching it. And it was the old mate doing the Christchurch shooting.
Yep.
I didn't realise. I didn't click onto it. Like I noticed it was starting to get all banned.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a bit bad. And in the meantime, I've walked past there were like Muslim people in the airport, and like they were like distraught because they just saw what happened, and some of them were getting ready to fly to Christchurch.
Yeah, wow.
So they were hysterics, which is completely understandable. But to get to Croatia, I was flying into Zagreb, but I had to do a detour to Dubai.
Oh.
So you see where this is going?
Yeah, I think I can.
Yeah. So anyway, I get on the flight, and unfortunately, what was it like? Might have been a 14-hour flight. I'm not entirely sure. To Dubai, and there was a 7-hour flight from Dubai to Zagreb. Anyway, it was a big long flight, and I didn't sleep too much because I had a screaming kid sitting behind me. It didn't seem to like flying.
They never do.
No. So I land in Dubai, and I decided that I was going to stay there for the night and then catch the flight the next morning to continue. I'll just have a break halfway and get going. That was all well and good. So I'm walk out with my eyes hanging out, buddy. Tired. It's midnight there at the time. It's stinking hot because it's the desert. You get over there and there's this guy walk around and goes, "Oh, you looking for taxi?" Going, yeah, no, I'm looking for a taxi. I need to get to my hotel. Goes, "Oh, you follow me. I'll show you where taxis are." So right now, off you go. Follow this bloke, yeah. And so there's all these taxis lined up. I said, "Oh, thanks very much. No, this is my car. You get in this car." Yeah. Car. You say, "This is black Camry with no signage on it. No, it's just a black Camry." I went, "Oh." And before I could even click onto what was going on, he's already grabbed my backpack and he's put it in the car. So, of course, on instinct, I've dived in to go get it. Shuts the door, mate. He jumps in the front seat and we take off. I'm going, he goes, "Oh, yes, I'll take you to airport." And already I'm sitting in the back seat, sweating slowly, tap my hands. I'm just going on. So I pull out the reservation paper and in my kit and go, "Oh, yeah, I'm going this one here." So, right, yeah. It shouldn't have only been a 15-minute drive. Turned into 45 minutes, driving around. Meantime, he's getting phone calls and he's speaking in Arabic to someone else on the phone and giving me real rules in the rear vision mirror. So, by this point, we've worked out that the shooter was an Australian bloke and yada yada. So, I'm in my head, I'm just going, "Oh, he knows I'm Aussie. He's gonna bloody take me back to the Taliban or something to get revenge. Something's gonna go wrong here."
Oh shit.
What do I do? Because I only had my normal credit card, Australian debit card, and I just had a few dollars in Croatian, Turkin or Turek or whatever the currency's called. I only had that currency on me, just in case I got over there and wanted to get a sandwich or something. So I was like, "Oh God, what do I do?" And I was like, "I don't have any way to pay you." Because, "Oh, that's okay. We go to ATM and get money out." I went, "Oh, okay." So he goes in there and he pulls up to a BP somewhere. And we walk in and I've walked up to the ATM and he's followed me in and standing right behind me the whole time. I was like, "Shit." Put the card in. Don't know. Look at all the different, it's all the different numbers. I'm just going, "I've got no idea how much all this is." I'm going, "I don't know how much am I meant to give?" And he just walks over and he presses a button and that's how much feeds out. And right, so I just turn around and I just hand him the money. I went, "Fuck it, take the money." So and then he turns from being this real sober to real happy bloke then. So, would you like coffee? Would you like to get a cup of coffee? I went, "No, I just want to get to my hotel and go to sleep, please." So righto, jump back in, drive around for ages. Righto. Then he pulls up and says, "Righto, you see that building over there?" And like off in the distance. And going, "That's your hotel. We get out here." And he grabs my bag, chucks it outside, and he goes, I hope we can see each other again when you come back to Dubai." And he drives off. So he left me off in the desert. So I've got to walk across the bloody desert sand to get to my hotel. Shitting myself.
I reckon that covers sketchy and fun, funniest things on
I thought it would.
So, Croatia.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was like cultural wise, it was very like I had a great time. Like never laid eyes on a bear the whole time, but great time.
Yeah. See many
it was only me and one.
See much other wildlife while you're out there, or
actually we can add this to the sketchy story if you like.
Go on.
So, it was the first night because they only hunt bears at night over there. No, nocturnal. So you sit up in a blind on a bait pole and you wait for the bear to come in. You blind them up with night vision scoping,
Much
away you
like
go.
Africa with leopards.
Yeah, similar to that. So we drove up in a Yaris to get to this hunting blind.
That's a quality bear hunting vehicle.
Oh, only the best in these Eastern European countries. So anyway, if we drive up there, we go there, and we get there at about 5:30 in the afternoon, just before it gets dark. Go back in, and we sit in there and we wait and wait and wait. Don't see a thing. And then eventually the guide who was with me goes, "Oh, look, wolves." Oh, sweet. I've never seen a wolf before. So we're like watching them through the scope and everything. Oh, that's cool. And he goes, "Okay, can you shoot them?" Because no, only Croatians can shoot them. Like, no international people can shoot them because that's the way their regulations and control work. So only they can shoot them. So, oh, yeah, that's sweet. Well, and then it gets to about 3:00 in the morning. He said, "Right, the bear's not going to come tonight. We'll pull out." So, right, climb out of the blind, and the wolf prints are underneath the blind. I'm looking at him, and I look at the guy, and he looks at me, and he's just gone pale. I'm going, "Do wolves normally do that?" He just shook his head. Oh, I know, rightio. So we start walking back to the Aris, and we're looking at our tracks, but then the wolf prints are on top of our tracks, and then it keeps going and going, and then eventually what happened was that the wolves found the Yaris car for the Yaris and worked out which way it went, found the car, then smelt us and worked out where we were and went and sat under our blind trying to work out how to get us, and eventually gave up and went and stole the bear bug.
Jesus. That would have been sketchy. Like I've seen coyotes in the wild, and they're half the size of a wolf. So I can only imagine how sketchy it would be.
Yeah, there was only two of them. I described the smallest one being the size of the biggest German Shepherd you've ever seen, and the other one double the size of that.
That's nuts.
Massive.
Well, you would have heard the Rogan and Meat Eater story of them stopping fighting in one of the world wars to kill all the wolves on the battlefield.
The Russians and the Germans have a ceasefire because the wolves kept picking them off.
Yeah, no, that's mental. That, especially being in Eastern Europe, that would have been in my mind.
Yeah, like one of the warnings that they give you, like if you look, because Australian government gives out a thing like on warnings on like different countries and like what's their safety status.
Yeah.
And one of the safety warnings I looked up for Croatia was like, "Oh, don't go wandering around in the bush too much because there's still undiscovered mines from the war back in 1995 still hanging around."
No wonder you didn't see any bears. All the bears are just wandering, blowing up.
It's going poof.
So, how long were you in Croatia for?
I was only there for 5 days. Was
that 5 days?
I went for 3.
3 nights.
Yeah, it's only went for 3 nights, and we stretched out to a 4th night, which made me miss my flight for that day. But I ended up calling up Buddy Emirates and reorganising another flight to get back on the same day to Australia anyway. So it worked out.
Yeah, wow. That's Croatia. That's not something that's ever really crossed the mind as a hunting destination.
No, it really isn't, because it's got like they got the one of the chamois species over there, as well as mouflon and wild boar and red stag. Roadies. I saw a lot of roadie there, and I'm keen to go chase one of them.
Yeah, they're a cool little species.
I did put up a post years ago, like after I got back from there, off the coast there's a little island, and it's got a heap of fallow deer on it, but they're all inbred, so they're just not good heads. But the reason the conversation came up, because the guy who I was hunting with, like another client, he was from Kuwait and he's a keen bow hunter. He wanted to know if he could bow hunt in Croatia somehow, and I was like, well, maybe you can hunt these fallow deer on this island because they're introduced. They're not native to Croatia. in some way.
That's crazy. That's, Croatia. Who would have thunk, eh?
I just picked a random spot. So, yeah, I'll give that a go.
It's definitely a good way to deal with a shitty breakup and shitty relationship. I'm just going to go hunt brown bear in Croatia.
Some people just go out and drink.
I'm sure there could have been lots of that over in Croatia. I'm sure they wouldn't mind their spirits.
No, I was there for St. Paddy's Day. I nearly didn't get on the drink that much.
So what's the most important item you take out on a hunting trip? Apart from your rifle or bow?
For me, it's my camera, because I like filming and photography. I just like to capture the whole thing, like the wilderness and the animal, and like just the rawness of it.
Yeah, you take lots of good footage and photos and all sorts, so it's always awesome to see. What's your top 5 dream animals?
I've had to think hard about that. So, a doll sheep, like I really want to get a nice doll sheep, just because I don't know something about those mountain sheep in North America. Like it's always been like a big dream.
They are cool.
Watching the hunting DVDs as a kid, really, really want to get one.
Ben Solaris got one, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he got a doll sheep.
I think he got drawn for a tag, but because of the whole COVID nonsense, I don't think he could go.
Yeah, I think he got one a few years back as well.
That was a bighorn.
Oh, that was a bighorn, was it? Yeah.
That was a bighorn in Montana.
Yeah. Insane. They're still cool. Any of those. Yeah.
There's just any North American sheep species.
Yeah.
I really would like to get. If I was a millionaire, I'd definitely like to get a muckle.
Yep.
They're something else.
They are. What one of those just sell for recently? It was something ridiculous. One of those Markor hunts just it sold for like a ridiculous amount.
I know that when I looked it up, to get one in Pakistan was 175,000.
Yeah,
Australia.
I think this was like 600,000 or 700,000 American. This hunt went for.
Yeah,
I think it was like through Safari Club International or one of those organisations. But yeah, it was just.
Oh, well, I found this one through Book Your Hunt. So, and like the whole thing was like, oh yeah, you're going to shoot a Markor, but really all the money that you paid for this hunt is going towards snow leopard research and and funding to conservation for snow leopards.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I had the money. I'd definitely back that up.
Oh, 100%. I don't think there's a hunt around that if I was a multi-millionaire that I wouldn't go on. Just for the experience.
Just living the life.
Yeah, exactly. So you got a doll sheep, you got a Markor. What else, man?
Cape buffalo. Like I just like the idea of going to Africa and like taking on one of them.
They are.
They got such a reputation of being that deadly and hardy.
Yeah. I was the Send It Mate podcast, their most recent one. Their guest, he'd shot one over there, and he said they're just insanely tough.
Like you hear the same thing from everyone. It's just like it takes some effort to bring down.
Yeah,
I want to experience that myself.
And just the horn shape, like that teardrop.
Oh yeah, you just like to turn the bosses, just how big the bosses get.
Yeah, they're definitely an insane animal. So you got what? A North American species, a Pakistan species, an African species. What else?
There's a bear, some sort of a bear species, like whether it's a black bear or a brown bear, grizzly, polar bear. Like polar bear would be pretty cool just to go up to the Arctic and experience that landscape. But
yeah, I'm on a couple of the Inuit hunting Facebook pages. I'm not sure if you're on them, but they're right now, I think, is polar bear season, and there's been a bunch of photos popping up.
I was on an Alaskan Facebook page, and I just remember blokes just casually throwing up trophy photos of bloody seals and whales and shit, and going, how the fuck do you blokes get away with that? But then I looked into it a bit more, said, oh, you're native, like you can get away with that.
Yeah, these guys are posting like narwhals and, you know, they're they're chasing freaking whales and shit with 22 hornets and 22 magnums.
Yeah, 20. It's got to hit in the right spot and get a hook on it.
Yeah, it's cool to see, and then they post all their meat and that from their whales and their seals and the polar bear, and it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, or even if I couldn't, like, even if I wasn't the hunter, I like to be like participate and just look and just watch.
Yeah,
I'd find that
I just want to
cool.
Eat it all, try it all. Try seal, seal oil.
Definitely want to eat it.
Try polar bear. Try it all. Freaking narwhal, like the big freaking tusk horn things on those things are insane.
I'll try anything that's given to me. Like, we nearly the guy from Kuwait in Croatia, like, he ended up getting a bear on the very last day, on the last night, and like the Croatian guides and the cooks and stuff, they were going to have like this big feast and stuff. I was like, neither of us could stay.
Oh no!
Because we're going to miss our flights. So I was real dirty. I never got to try any brown bear.
Yeah, I've had black bear jerky. It was okay, but yeah, apparently just like black bear roast is just next level, better than the best beef roast you've ever had.
It's funny because like the guy who shot it, he was Muslim.
Yeah.
He's going like, well, I can't eat it anyway. It's against my religion.
Yeah, they're classed the same as pigs and stuff as well.
Yeah, well, actually, I've got quite in-depth in conversation because, you know, like I'm raised Catholic or whatever, and he was raised Muslim, so I like just seeing someone from like the Middle East talk to someone from like an Australian background. It was just interesting to have that talk back and forth. So we got into a conversation about what can you eat, what can't you eat. So obviously, he goes like, right, well, how's the Quran describe it? He goes, it's hard to really say because, you know, the translations get changed over time, but I put it down to if it has fangs, I can't eat it. Like, right, yeah. So basically, tusks, you're saying is fangs on a pig. Yep. So right, that lion you shot for bow in Africa, like, not going to touch it. And he goes, no. I said, right, yeah. What if you went to the UK, the Chinese water deer? Would you eat that? Because they've got fangs.
Yeah.
He goes, ooh, you got me there. I'm going to play it safe and say that I can't eat it because it has fangs. That's what I believe. I'm going, righty, like, you true to your face.
So what about red deer and elk and stuff where they have the reminiscence of the fangs, the ivories? Because technically...
that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
It's the reminiscence of fangs, so...
Yeah, well, I didn't get that far into the conversation. So.
If you ever have another conversation, you can throw that at them now too. So, how do you see the public views on hunting and hunters?
I believe the view is changing all the time. It's swings and roundabouts, like it's a pendulum. Because, in a way, like you look at how media's changed going through the 90s. Like you look like, we'll pick the 90s. Like that's like when hunting television like didn't really exist. It was only like a few little bits, and then like ESPN had Tom Miranda back in the day, and eventually like Disney bought that out, and that got pushed away, and so then they had to start the Outdoor Channel and Sportsman Channel, and like the hunting magazines and things have sort of tried to keep alive, but the voice wasn't really there. But now with social media, it's grown again, I believe.
It has.
Like it's like you and I are talking here now. Like we've met through social media.
Yeah.
Like it's more people are getting connected, and the voice is getting out there somehow.
But that's on that level, that's hunters connecting with hunters over social media. But like when you're posting photos as we do and videos as we do, and especially on a platform like Instagram, or if you're going out with someone and you tag them on Facebook, you're reaching a different demographic who isn't really used to seeing these photos, these videos, and it's quite confronting for them as well. So, do you think as much as it can be a benefit, do you think it can be a curse as well?
Oh, 100%. Like the biggest enemy to hunting and social media is hunting in social media.
Exactly.
Like it's like you can't avoid it because like not everyone's going to agree. But if you can go about, like you look at someone like Ted Nugent, they're always in your face. They just say what's on his mind. He just does not hold back. But occasionally with some people, you just got to not force them into it, but like just be gentle with it and like ease them into it. Like if we can do that a bit more, you'll get more white lies, I think. But
I love Uncle Ted's approach, but he is very full on, and some people do not like him.
I love the bloke. Like he's insane.
You obviously listen to the latest Meat Eater with Uncle Ted on it.
I kept up and make sure I kept listening.
It divided the hunting community. So many people just do not like him. They switch off as soon as he starts talking, which is a shame because he's a very, very knowledgeable person. But speaking about social media dividing the public on hunting, what did you think of Matt Ranella's stance on social media and hunting and media in general?
I found that quite interesting because his views on it, like he's looking at it from the perspective that like, oh yeah, you're doing hunter recruitment and that's bad because it's putting more pressure on public land hunting in North America. That view, like if you take away that view from more hunters to you're turning people against hunting, that view is my old man. My old man hates the idea of like putting trophy photos up. He find it very distasteful. He was very growing up as a kid, and like when he said, when you go, just don't talk about shooting guns, don't talk about hunting. Like not everyone agrees with that, but I could because I grew up in a country town where like everyone went pig dogging.
Yeah.
I was the only deer hunter around. Everyone else went chasing pigs with dogs, and that was like the most violent thing you could do. And so as you get older and like you deal with more people from the cities and stuff, you try to be a bit careful of how you handle it. But like, as far as like Matt's view on it goes, I can see where he's coming from, and it's like he makes a good argument, but I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I'm very much in the same boat. But that older generation, as you're saying with your dad, my pop, and other older hunters I've spoken to, it's like hunters should be not seen and not heard. They should be just doing it. They just kind of want to keep it out of the public view.
Yeah, keep it out of the public eye and keep it real quiet because like if you don't draw attention to yourself, no one's going to attack it away, sort of a thing. But unfortunately, like you get people like Peter or animal activists and stuff like that, like they always try and find something to grab a hold and take away what we hold dear.
Yeah, exactly. And I know all about dealing with those animal rights activists.
so I've heard.
So how would you change the public views on hunting and hunters?
If I feel like television, like live streaming services and stuff might be a big key to that because that's just the way technology is going at the moment. So like Meat Eater's clearly already taken a good leap forward with Netflix, doing it that way.
100%.
There's a mob called The Season. They're working real hard to try to get that up. I was talking to them the other day and they were like telling me that they might have a few deals going on with some Australian television companies to get it going.
Yeah, I've heard that and seen that. They are working with a lot of great hunters. Ben Salaris, or however you pronounce his last name.
Salaris.
Salaris.
I think it's Salaris. Like, I've met him a handful times, but
Yeah, I've met him at a couple of the deer expos, Um, but yeah, they look like they're going to do the world a good for Australian hunting and hunters,
yeah,
especially if they get on a big Australian network,
yeah.
whether it's
Because
Seven Mate or
I remember I was on Binge, like the Binge streaming service,
yeah,
and like I'm not entirely sure who owns that, but I saw a lot of pro-vegan documentaries popping up on it, and was going like, cool. How as a hunting community can we compete against this? And I put like a rant up on Instagram about it, and like I think it's Craig who's doing the season. Messaged me just going, this is what we're trying to fight. So like have a little bit of faith in this up. We'll get something out to fight it. And fortunately, if you go on 7+, you got Ivan Carter's shows on there. And like he's a ex-professional hunter, but like he's doing these animal rescue style shows the show, but like he always goes to, well, this is what hunting has funded this.
yeah,
Like funded this, the saving of the rhino. Hunting has funded the relocation of these wild sheep back into the mountains of Montana. Like he's showing it the way it should be shown.
yeah. I understand what you're saying. I still think streaming services are going to be the go rather than mainstream TV, because I could not tell you the last time I watched normal TV. Probably two-ish years ago at least.
I think for me it was 2 hours ago because I was watching the bloody kid get stabbed at the Exeter show. So
Yeah, that's why I don't watch the news, all that depressing shit. I just
it's even during COVID, it was just numbers and just depression, and I was just horrible.
yeah, I stay away from all of that subject. I'm sick of hearing about it. I was
Yeah.
sick of hearing about it 2.5 years ago.
No, I was sick of hearing about when I canceled my Mexican trip. So
Yeah, I bet Mexico's cool, man. You have to get over there. What were you gonna go chase in Mexico?
brocket deer,
What? Sorry,
brocket deer.
rocket deer. Nice.
Yeah, brocket deer and ocellated turkey and a few of those jungle species.
Yeah, cool. So you're going right down like South America border way.
Yeah, like Yucatan or whatever that region's called.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I was about an hour and a half over the Texan border when I went to Mexico. But yeah, that was just
Yep.
chasing whitetail and javelina and stuff like that.
But I had peccary on the list of stuff I wanted to get. So,
Yeah, the collared peccary, man, they're cool. And
yeah.
don't believe what people say, they are really good eating.
Well, I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about them because all I heard about was from Ranella. So
Yeah. Well, he ate a coyote, so we're not going there. We can't trust his judgment of.
no, not really. Especially when he's getting trichinosis from bears and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. So, what is hunting to you?
it's as a kid, I was a big fan of Steve Allen growing up. I just like getting out, adventure.
I'm
And
not
as
sure
I've
if
gotten
you can
older,
see it
I
there in the
discovered-
background on the video call. I'm pointing to a little photo frame there. It's a little photo frame with some movie still of Steve Irwin right there. He was, again, my idol as well. I was a massive fan of Steve Irwin, and it seems to be a very, very, a very common.
I got a little statue of him.
It seems to be a very common thing in the hunting community, with people being a massive Steve Irwin fan.
Yeah, so like, yeah, well, I just getting out of this, that living in the bush, like adventure and all that. And as I got older, like I discovered Jim Shockey, watched a lot of his stuff, and I'm just going, this guy's just got it worked out. Like what a life to live, like just traveling the world, seeing these amazing places. So in the end, what hunting is to me is just adventure. Like it's just always been about adventure.
That's
And I hold adventure very dear to me, and that's what I want that to be to Leo, my son, when he's older. Like he just to enjoy going out and being adventurous.
100%. No, that's a really good answer. I think I discovered Eva before I discovered Jim.
I think most blokes did.
But yeah, that I would love to go see Jim's hunting museum. That would
Buddy,
just be next level.
I was trying to rig the Mexico trip to fly to Canada so I could drop off in Vancouver so I could just quickly go over to the museum, then get back on the plane, then keep going to Mexico. But the logistics was a little bit too complicated to get that to work out.
Yeah, it's a couple of hours different there. I think from Melbourne to LAX that was like 17 hours, and then it was like
it was 14 hours, and I did it from Sydney.
Yeah, so. You said Iowa whitetail before. Have you hunted whitetail?
Yeah, I pursued whitetail in Illinois. In I think it was like 2016, 2017.
How'd you go?
Not great. Plenty of deer. I saw a really nice buck I really wanted to get, but we were hunting out of blinds and tree stands and stuff. So I was like, I just never got anything in that range. I did have a doe tag, but the only closest a doe came was 55 meters. So I wasn't confident to take that shot because it was bow season. But yeah, like I did see like 120-inch whitetail buck, and I was like, we were only meant to shoot 140 upward, but I told the guys, look, I don't care about big monster bucks. I just want to get like a standard whitetail deer.
Yeah.
To take home. I just want a respectable buck, and he goes, you know what, I expect that, so don't stress too much about it.
Yeah,
so we hunted for about 5 days and just had no luck.
You can't really see, but just up there above my bow, that's
up on top there, yeah.
That's my whitetail up there. Nothing too flash. Is a 3x4, but
yeah,
just a cool animal. Completely different to anything over here.
Like I've got an obsession with North American big game. Like I just love it.
So do I.
Yeah, I just can't get.
It's not just North American big game. It's big game. It's game in general. Whether it's New Zealand game, Australian game. Like I asked the question, what's people's top five game? But for me, it's like, well, I've got my North American top 5. I've got my European top 5. I've got my African top 5. I've got my New Zealand top 5. Like, there's too many animals to hunt, and I don't have nowhere near enough money or time.
Yeah, that's the exact same problem I got. Because when you ask what's your top 5, I'm just going, well, I'm just going to pick the top 5 that I assume I'll never have the money to get. So I'm just going to list those that I know. Like I dream of getting, but I know I won't get anyway, because where am I going to get the finances?
Exactly. I reckon bear's pretty plausible for you. Get onto some black bear. That's the great thing about social media. We have all these American contacts, these Canadian contacts. A little while ago, I was looking at doing a bear hunt. I still will in years to come, but I was chatting to Clay Newcomb, and he gave me a bunch of advice, very friendly, before he was on the Meat Eater Network. I came across that video of him where the bear touches the end of his arrow, comes up and sniffs the end of his arrow, and I just become obsessed with that video, and I had to reach out to him and have a chat to him about it. So,
big named.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you did your research on this one today. What's your most random fact? What'd you come up with?
In Texas, if you do not pay your child support payments, you don't get a hunting license.
Yep. I think there's actually a few states in America that's the case. If you don't pay your child support, you lose your privilege of hunting and fishing rights.
And you know what? I'd support that too. If it was like, if hunting and fishing was as big here as it was over there, I'd be like, yeah, nah. If you're being a shit dad, do that.
Yeah, 100%, because you need to take your kids out hunting and fishing.
Yeah.
So, a new bit today, the Insta 5 questions. So I've got
okay.
five of the questions that I got given today. We'll just quickly go through them. First one is from Maxwell _ more power. If you could own one rifle caliber for the rest of your life, what would it be?
30-06. I've already got it, but it's just a good all round caliber.
Bit big on rabbits, but
why skin it when it's already minced?
Exactly, gut and skin it at the exact same time, as well as quartering it.
Yeah.
This one is right up your alley, and only one of these people knew that you were the guest tonight, and this person,
Right,
this
yeah.
person wasn't them. Daniel Phillips _ hunting. Thoughts on chopper culls?
Chopper culls are the bane of the Australian hunting and New Zealand hunting. They're destroying it, as far as I'm concerned. It's just they're just pack of absolute.
So I've seen on Insta the last week or so, South Australia, New South Wales, and Victoria all doing these chopper culls, and there's reports of choppers chasing game off of private property. So this leads into the next question. This person knew that you were coming on, and he knew your love of chopper culls, and he's also a studying biologist who's a hunter and shooter, but he's pro chopper culls, and this person wants deer and other species eradicated from the Australian ecosystem. This is Daniel Carl 01. He's also the one of the head guys at ET Tactical, Eureka Tactical, the shirt the shirts we got. He wants to know.
Okay, yep.
He wants to know, have you written to your elected representatives about the issues you've had with chopper culling, especially where they're chasing deer off of private property into the parks to shoot them?
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't, but I'm planning to. Like, I just haven't got around to it yet because, the whole farming and family thing gets a bit busy.
Yeah.
But I have been making intentions to write a letter to the local land services about my.
Because his thing is that he sees hunters complaining about this every year, but he wanted to know how many people actually complain to their elected officials, or also make complaints to the right authorities when these choppers are chasing deer off of private land, because it is illegal for them to do so if they don't have the right, from my understanding anyway.
Yeah, well, I feel like people don't make the effort to voice their words out because they feel like it's going to drop on deaf ears anyway because they're a hunter.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a bit.
So I was like, well, what's the point of making the argument if we're not going to get listened to anyway?
Exactly. But hey, someone needs to put some voice out there, and that's this guy's. This is Daniel's thing. He sees a lot of hunters and shooters. He'd worked in a gun shop. Like I said, he's a studying biologist, and he sees a lot of shooters and hunters complaining about everything. But he also works behind the scenes for Firearm Owners United, and they put a lot of stuff out where people have to write to elected officials, and shooters complain about their gun laws, but no one ever does anything to help better these laws.
Yeah. Like, people always complain about gun laws and these laws and chopper culls, and I'll admit it's a bit hypocritical of me to get the shit over the chopper culls and not voice my opinion on it, but I do intend to. But it's also the same when it comes to issues of public land. Like, people want public land hunting in Queensland, they want public land hunting in South Australia.
100%.
Public land hunting in these places, but I don't see anyone that they have. I think they have made an effort at Queensland at one point, but sort of that's fallen on a deaf door.
Yeah,
But
it's
I feel
happened
like
in
with
South Australia.
competitions,
Send Mate guys were talking about apparently a guy within the ADA actual like cancelled all the progress that they made on getting public land hunting because he made a complaint. One letter from this guy within the ADA ruined all of the efforts that were made by the rest of the. All right, so let's move away from the tropicals. Favorite
yeah,
way
make
to
me blood boil too much.
favorite way to prep and cook wild game meat from AJ underscore Pella 121.
Favorite way to prep game meat and cook it. I'm when it comes to game meat, I'm always experimental, so I'm always like trying different things and doing different stuff. But more or less, I give it to my partner Nikki, who's going like, "You reckon you could try something like that?" Because like she's always very adventurous with her cooking and always cooks such amazing things all the time. Like I said, never starving. So like on the steak, the 16-pointer red steak I shot last year, I got tomahawk steaks taken out of him, and I said like do something with that, and she put a bit of rub on it, and she cooked it in the air fryer, poured it out, and it was amazing.
Yeah, the
So
air fryers.
the air fryers are the air fryers are a very new thing that's coming out, and I was not too sure how to go about them, but like I think like they're a new thing that really take on board with when trying out new game meat.
Yeah. I actually use the air fryer quite a bit. And yeah, venison comes up great. I did a bunch of cut up bunch of venison steaks into dice and just put it in the bottom of the air fryer with some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and just 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes. It was cooked perfectly. Moving on to the next one, Denzel 447. What do you experience after successfully hunting a deer that you've targeted for a couple of years?
Oh god, what's the right word for that? Relief, I guess. Relief, and because like you work so hard and like this like just a weight is just taken away, the stress is gone, and like you've completed this pursuit that's been nagging you for the day's not even like you're laying in bed or you're there at work, like it distracts you all the time, and you finally came up with a way to outwit this animal or just get the better of it, like in the terms of fair chase, even because I'm a big believer in fair chase. So it was just to be able to be successful and like get it done. Like I don't know, it's hard to explain because there's so many different emotions that roar through you.
Exactly.
Like, you're sad. You're mentally exhausted. Like there's so much going on.
Yeah, unfortunately, I personally have not taken like a deer that I've been chasing for a couple of years. I had one that I was chasing for a couple of years, and a mate took him while I was with him. I was very emotional when that happened. I was very happy, but I was also very sad and devastated at the exact same time. I couldn't have been prouder of my mate, and I told him to do it if this situation happened, and it happened, and he managed to take it. But yeah, that's the only real experience I've had. Like I get these same deer on trail camera every year. I've got a couple on this one property that I'm going out to in the morning that I've had on trail camera for the last 3 years, and just I cannot, because it's such a thick and scrubby property. I just cannot make things work out. But I'm going to go sit between two scrapes tomorrow in a pop-up deer blind that I set up on the weekend and hopefully let an arrow fly.
I probably answered his question wrong because you answered as chasing like a single animal. Well, I set it up as like chasing a particular species because for me, I chased a tar one year, but then we got blizzarded out. I couldn't hunt because it was just complete whiteout. I woke up next day, there were avalanches anywhere. The snow was too deep to go looking for them. And I did shoot one, but we never recovered it. My mate shot one as well. He never recovered it. So we came back like 16 months later to try again, and then like we both ended up getting tar.
That's
It was
awesome.
like we came back and we succeeded where we failed before.
Yeah, it would be a good feeling, that's for sure, and that's what I feel like I'm going to be like when I eventually get back to New Zealand to chase Seeker. I'll have that same feeling, and I had very similar feeling when I took that red stag with Hainsey the other day. You know, I've taken a hind, I've taken 2 spikes with the bow, and I've had some really, really nice deer within rifle range when I've had the bow, and I've missed a couple of nice stags with the bow. Just haven't been able to seal the deal. So taking that stag I took was a very big relief for me to finally get that monkey off my shoulder, you know.
Like, although he's like not like a giant monstrous deer, like just because he's got that bit of a wonk in the air, like I reckon that makes him cool and unique just for that.
And that's what I said to Hainsey. Like, we've been planning this hunt for 2 years. He's invited me out the last 2 years, and the first year I couldn't do it because it was the birth of my son. Unfortunately timed, he was born in April. And not the first week of April, but no, not the last week of April, but the first week in April. So that they cancelled that plan, and then the second year, COVID and shearing on the property got in the way. And then finally got it to happen. And I said to Hainsey, I don't care if it's the wonkiest donkey you've ever seen. You know, if it's got more than 2 points, I'm gonna take it. And yeah, just happened to be managed to get this fella down on the first morning of the hunt within the first half an hour. Everyone says he's an 8-pointer, but he's only got 2 tiny little knobs to make him an 8. I call him a 6 with 2 nubs. But I can still hang a ring off of both of those 2 nubs, so technically they're classed as a point.
Technically it counts. Yeah, well, this bloke right here,
his goal.
That's the second Sambro I've ever shot.
So you've taken what, 3 or 4 Sambro?
So I've taken 3 Samba.
Wicked.
No, that's a lie. That's a 4. I did shoot a nubby one, and like I took the whole thing back to New South Wales and hung it up in the cool room.
That's wicked. Yeah, I've only taken the one, and that was on private property under spotlight, so I still need to go get myself a proper hunted Samba.
Yeah. You know, that bloke up there, the big boy, like we went to go tuna fishing, really, but then like the weather was turning bad, so like, well, we're gonna be caught in rain anyway. Might as well just do it up in the hills.
That's a pretty good prize rather than going tuna fishing, I'd say.
Yeah, so like, oh, we're not. Yeah, but the bloke, funny because I shot him. I was like, sweet, best Sambo. Like I'm clearly getting him mounted. Then like the guy who we were meant to get on the boat with, he said, like, oh yeah, like we were like 100 yards from the Victorian buddy tuna record when got caught today. It's like, oh, so like, no matter where you were, like, history was being made for someone.
No, that's awesome. So if people have enjoyed listening to this podcast, where can they find you on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram? Do you have YouTube?
Oh, I've got YouTube, but it's only like one measly solo goat hunt video that I made ages ago. So you can watch it if you like, but if you want to contact me there, you're wasting your time. So or just Instagram at Cody Gearon, like one word, Cody Gearon on Instagram. That's probably your best place to bother me if you want to talk shit or whatever.
And you're very good at doing that.
Oh, it's a Gearon art. It's been handed down between the brothers.
No, that's great. You're definitely king of memes, that's for sure.
I try my best. I don't want to gloat or anything, but I'll make a Simpsons meme or two.
One thing I do quickly want to get on. You share a photo of you at a stand-up club. What's the deal with that?
Oh, okay. So this was during the whitetail trip when I went to America. And I was like, well, I was in LA for a couple of days. I was like, you know what? I'm here. I want to go see I love stand-up comedy. I want to go see some shows.
As do I.
I went to a club called Flappers. And Bill Burr was there. So I got to saw Bill Burr live, testing some new material before he did a Netflix special. So that was pretty cool.
I love Bill Burr. He's a funny bugger.
Yeah. So I got to see Bill Burr live, and we went to the toilet and I shook his hand and had a quick yarn with him.
In the toilet? What?
Well, I was on my way to the toilet. We weren't in the toilet.
I was going to say, it's a bit awkward if he's trying to take a piss and you're like, hey, you going, mate?
Yeah, like, hang on, let me have a quick shake here, and then I'll shake that. Segregated him real quick. Then the next night I went to the Comedy Store. There's like a heap of comedians go there, like Greg Fitzsimmons and Joe Rogan, buddy Dave Chappelle. Like, they all go there, and Brian Callen was on that, right? So, there was actually two shows. There was an early show and there was a late show. I was like, well, I'm here. I'm going to watch both. So I paid tickets for both, and then just during the break between the two, the cleaning guy was there. And he goes, where are you from? He goes, I'm visiting from Australia, like just is here for a little holiday. He goes, oh, well, do you want to get on stage and I'll take a photo of you and make it look like you're telling some jokes? Yeah, I'll do that. And I did that, and I sent it to me brother, and he's going, what are you doing there? What have you done? And I was going, the janitor offered to take a photo for me before, buddy, the next lot of comedians, but he stood up. Sweet.
That's great. Yeah, I would love to see Brian Callen. He's a unique fella, that's for sure.
Oh, and he just uses the whole stage. He just goes back and forth. He's just so energetic. Like, watching him walk on your phone and stuff, I said, oh, yeah, he's pretty funny, but watching him live, it's like, it's a different level.
I bet. Anyway, man, thank you very much for coming on. We had a little bit of a tech issue. This is the first Zoom interstate podcast I've done, so we had to try and find a medium that worked well. We tried video chat, we tried Instagram, so we both ended up having to download Zoom and jump on there and work that out.
We made it work in the end.
We made it work, so hopefully I won't have as many of these tech issues in the future. Cody was just the test dummy.
Test dummy, yeah, like wasted on the bloody Dobie Black from New South Wales.
That's all good when you shoot some good deer, mate. That's
yeah. Oh well, you get what you get.
Staring at your collection behind you makes me look like I'm just standing in a room with a bunch of spikes.
Oh well, like it. Like, if you hunt long enough, you get lucky. I just happened to fluke it where I was. Really, like, there's no skill there. It's just luck.
1% skill, 99% fluke.
Yep, pretty much when it comes to my stuff. Yeah.
But nah, easy, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for listening. Please find us on social media: Instagram Hunting Connection Podcast, Facebook Hunting Connection Podcast, and Twitter @Hunting Connect. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast app you're listening on, rate, review, and share with your friends and family. Thank you.